Hey y'all, Matt here, and today we're going to attempt to answer another question: are there going to be animals in heaven? And before we get into this video, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so YouTube tells you when I post another video, and like the video and share it with your friends if you like them. Also, there's an email address in the notes. If you have any questions or topics you want me to hit, please send them my way, and I'll do my best to answer questions that I get as I get them. But today the question is, are there animals in heaven? This is something that the Bible doesn't come out and just tell us straight away. So what we have to do is we have to dive into Scripture, and we have to study Scripture, and we have to use general principles that we read about in Scripture in order to try to answer this question. And I'll go on and cut to the chase. We're probably not going to be able to answer it 100%, but there's a lot of good evidence for the position that I'm going to take. Before we begin, three predominant Christian apologists and teachers that believed that there were going to be animals in heaven were C.S. Lewis, Martin Luther, and Billy Graham. And a lot of this, just like we said, comes from general principles that they read about in Scripture. The first thing we have to remember is heaven isn't a disembodied place that we just go to when we die, that we float up into the clouds and we sit on the clouds and watch David play the harp and stuff like that. We have to remember that heaven is a literal place that we see in Revelation 21 and 22, and it's actually a recreation of everything the way it was originally meant to be made, with no sin, no death, no corruption, nothing like that. Basically the Garden of Eden recreated all over again, and that's seen in Revelation 21 and 22 again if you want to go and read it for yourself. But another place that we see talked about, it's an end time passage, but it deals with animals, is actually in Isaiah chapter 11 verses 6 through 9, and it's talking about the millennial reign of Christ. It's talking about that, the peace that will be seen when Christ comes and he reigns for that 1,000 years. And the scripture actually says, "And the wolf will dwell with the lamb, and the leopard will lie down with the young goat, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and the little boy will lead them. Also the cow and the bear will graze, their young will lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like the ox. And the nursing child will play by the hole of the cobra, and the weaned child will put his hand in the viper's den. They will not hurt or destroy in all of my holy mountain, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea." And what we see here is this isn't exactly talking about our question, because the Bible isn't made to specifically answer our questions, but it's talking about the way that the earth will be during this millennial reign of Christ. And it shows all of these animals basically lying down together in peace. Animals aren't going to be hurting each other. They're not going to be killing each other. Animals that we have to fear now as natural predators, they're going to be harmless. You're going to be able to walk up to them and pet them. But what this does is it also implies that, in the millennial reign, there will be animals. Another passage, when we go to Revelation 19, this is actually a vision right before heaven comes, or the new heavens and new earth come down from heaven. It's actually John, in a vision of heaven. He actually sees these figures riding on horses. And so the fact that he's seeing them riding on horses in this vision of heaven implies that there would be horses in heaven, so which a horse is an animal. And then we can go all the way back to Genesis chapter 2. In Genesis chapter 2, this is right after creation. God has created everything. He's created man, and he basically gives Adam the assignment of naming all the animals. It's, in Genesis 2 verse 19. We see that the animals are populating the earth, and Adam names each of them. And if we see heaven as a recreated Eden, then why wouldn't there be animals there? It could very well be possible that the new heavens and the new earth would have animals in them. So these are some of the scriptures that I see that are in a position of supporting the fact that there would be animals. But one question that we also have is, if you read Revelation 21, it's a vision of the new heavens and the new earth. It also talks about how there won't be a sea in the new heavens and the new earth. So there's no ocean. So what does that mean for marine life? Does that mean that there may be land animals and not marine animals? Or They may be changed in a way to live on land. We don't know. But this is a good hermeneutics lesson for us. When we want to answer one of our questions, we dive into Scripture and we look about at what Scripture says about it. We gather all the evidence we can, and we look at it, and we look purely at the Scripture and not what we want it to say, and we try to draw conclusions from it. And in this situation, while it's very, very possible that there would be animals in heaven, because they were created good by God, and the heaven is basically recreated earth perfect, it's very, very possible that there could be animals there, but we can't say conclusively. Scripture doesn't just come out and tell us that they're going to be there. So that's the answer to the question. We don't really know. Some people are going to take one side or the other, and that's fine. This is a secondary issue that we can disagree on, but what's important is that we're digging into Scripture to try to look for these answers. But until the next video, if you like this video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. But I'll see you on the next one. I love you guys. Blessings.